Welcome back to Wisco Radio, and joined by two very special guests here, high school principal Cody Lundquist and our special guest here of the night, Crumble. How about that?
Yeah.
Great to have you here, Cody. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for being here tonight. An exciting game, an exciting weekend for homecoming. So glad to be here.
Yeah, obviously, some tragedy that hits our communities about 5 months ago. We're not going to get into details of that. Obviously, if you're a fan of the Vikings, you know the pain and tragedy that this community went through. But the great thing about a small town, I grew up in a small town. I know you're familiar with a small town too, is just how the community comes together and rallies and supports each other. And sometimes there's a ray of hope or light coming out of something like that, and that's what we have here today. Is Crumble want to talk about this opportunity and how we can support the foundation that helped fund Crumble here in this community. So just kind of walk us through this process and how we got here today.
We know about the May 1 experience, and after that, we had a lot of conversations. How do we support students? And Custom Canines, an organization out of Madison, came to us with multiple dogs. In the days right after the May 1st incident, and we just saw the response. We saw the children, the community, the parents just gravitated. It brought joy. You saw the smiles. It kind of gave people just excitement and joy in a time that was really, really challenging. And so we reached out and said, hey, how do you get a dog like that? We know schools have them. How do you get a dog like a service dog? And Custom Canines said, well, we can donate one to you. And we thought, okay, right? So then we got to this position, okay, what's that going to look like for us as a school? All the nuances of like handlers and who's going to do that? Where's the dog going to live? How's it going to be, the resources paid for? And I think along with the community wrapping around us, Custom Canines also came and rallied around us. And just to have Crumble here with us, due to Custom Canines and all the amazing work they do for, especially for veterans and people across Dane County, has been really remarkable. And to partner with them over these last few months, and to learn about Custom Canines and the work they do, but also for them to kind of get into schools, because they work with a lot of veterans and a lot of veteran groups, and just the benefit they have, and being able to have Crumble here, I would say much more popular and famous than I am. I'll tell you, he's great. The kids love him. But yeah, it's been a journey to have him here, but we're excited for it.
Well, I think it's interesting and knowing that there's one dog for this really big district. Yeah. Just talk about the day in the life of a service dog such as Crumble.
Yeah, well, Crumble has a very busy day. He usually gets to now, and he's just exhausted. So he splits his time generally between the middle school and the high school. That came from recommendations in terms of how much a service dog can actually do, how many handlers they should have. Really be mindful of too many handlers. There's a lot of training that goes into being able to handle a service dog and the commands. So he spends his time, splits his day between the middle school and high school. There's 2 handlers at each building. So he lives with me. So he comes home with me, comes to school in the morning, and it really kind of depends on the day. We have students who are scheduled with him, who spend some time. He is there to support them, either having a tough moment, a tough day, and he brings joy. He does a lot of great things, but there's also these really amazing stories of students who having a panic attack, and it might sometimes takes 15-20 minutes for that student to calm down, and Crumble comes in, and there's a couple tasks he can do to calm the student, and they're back in class within 2 or 3 minutes. And so his day really kind of depends on what's happening on that school day, but he splits it. He goes to the lunch cafeteria. Kids come up. They just love on him. He meets with small groups. He meets with teachers. He just brings joy into the rooms that he comes into. And when you've been through what this community has been through, to have something so simple have such a profound impact on our school and our kids it gives me goosebumps to think about when he comes in and kids are smiling and they love seeing him. And I'm so happy that we have this resource here thanks to Custom Canines.
Well, obviously, it's a big adjustment bringing, a service dog through. And what were maybe some of the questions or maybe even misconceptions that yourself had or the staff had on this sort of journey and where things started in September
Yeah.
to now, like how have things changed?
Yeah, I had no clue. I knew that people had service dogs. I knew I always interchangeably was like, oh, service dog, therapy dog, emotional support dog. And what I came to find out is those are very different features. They sometimes serve a similar purpose, but a service dog performs a specific task. It takes years, right? He was training from essentially being a puppy. He turns 2 in just over a week. So for a year and a half, he was training because his demeanor. I mean, this is to have a 2-year-old golden retriever sitting here chill, right? Is his demeanor, and so he's been through a lot of training. And so that was one thing I learned about. But we also had to learn about how much he can handle. He takes on a lot of emotional stress. And so how to give him breaks. He's trained to go a long time without going to the bathroom. He's trained a long time to go between, feeding. In the jacket, the red vest that he has on here, he acts different than when he is out of it. He gets to be a dog. The rules around when a dog is wearing a vest, what to do, whether you see at the airport. Now I know a lot more about when I'm seeing somebody at an airport or a restaurant, kind of what they're doing, what their task is, and how we can support it. So there's a lot of things we learned, but then having him come into the school is like, what's this going to look like? How are we going to? Teachers were like, is he going to just wander the halls? I'm like, no, he's not going to just wander the halls. He'll be with us. He's performing a task. And so I think that was the misconception and learning we had to do. And it's still a learning curve, I think, getting him comfortable, because he's really only been with us for, I think as a district now, 5-6 weeks. And it takes a couple of months for a dog to kind of acclimate. So we are still learning together with him, but he's already making such an impact. He's going to be actively involved in a lot of activities this school year. A lot of students want to make t-shirts and stickers and want to bring him in places, which is just exciting, the connections he's having for students.
High school principal Cody Lundquist and our special guest Crumble here for our Wisco Radio's feature, and a big reason we're here tonight and talking about Crumble is trying to give back to the organization that helped make this possible. Custom Canines is an organization doing some fundraising here tonight. Talk about that organization and how can people get involved?
Yeah, so Custom Canines is an amazing organization. They help veterans. What they do is they train dogs. They train dogs to support those who need a task. They do a lot of work with people who are dealing with PTSD, anxiety, and that's actually what Crumble is trained in, is to support those with PTSD, anxiety, and he can actually sense heart rate and mood and how people are doing, and he has things he'll do. And so we just cannot thank them enough for bringing Crumble to us, donating him. If you wanted to buy a dog with this training, it's going to be $20,000 to $30,000 to bring a dog like this in at a service dog level. So what we want to do is we're just trying to raise some funds to just give back to Custom Canines and then be able to pay it forward. Being able to pay this back forward so that they can continue to help do the amazing work that they're doing is something our goal here. So we've got the Miracle Minute going on tonight, gonna walk around with some dog bowls and hopefully get people to wag that cash a little bit. But also we've got some QR codes out there for people to scan and donate directly to Custom Canines around the stadium, but also we've had it throughout the week. This week we've got students coming in, dropping things off, and so just an effort to raise as much money as we can and give thanks back to Custom Canines for the work that they've done, not only for our community but also for future communities as well.
All right, really appreciate the time. Crumble, thank you for your time here. I know you're a star of the district already, so appreciate the time. Principal Lundquist here and our special friend Crumble joining us here on Wisco Radio.
Thanks.